Hey, I'd like to welcome you to another episode of Mission Matters. My name is Adam Torres, and if you'd like to apply to be a guest on the show, just head on over to missionmatters.com and click on Be Our Guest to apply. All right, so today my guest is Vineet Budki, and he is a partner and CEO at Sigma Capital. And I'm proud to say that this is part of our FII Summit, Priority Summit coverage that we've been doing. We've been doing this entire series, and I've been interviewing people that either attended or were part of the conference and the summit, both in Riyadh, Miami, and there's just so much going on that I want to bring this to our audience. So first thing first, Vineet, welcome to the show.
Hi, Adam. Good to be over here at the show and great talking to you.
Okay, so first thing first, FII Priority Miami. I attended that. That was my first FII event, and I was hooked. Like the people I met, the things I was able to do, the contacts, and really just the coverage and the interviews we've been doing. Now I'm probably, 20 interviews in for the conference, and I think we're going to do north of 50 for this particular edition, which was in Miami. Correct me if I'm wrong, Vinny. You were at the Miami one, right?
I was at the Miami one and I was at the Saudi one as well, the FII
Mm.
Summit. It's interesting for me because I've been doing two funds which were more like a single LP funds in the past.
Hmm.
And the idea of this new one came from FII Saudi. When I went there and saw the amount of TradFi that's floating around looking at equity funds and no one talking about Web3 and crypto, it
Mm.
started from there. So going to Miami was definitely part of the plan.
So I do want to circle back to Sigma Capital and the work you're doing there and also just get into Web3 as well in general. But before we do that, what keeps you coming back you went to the one in Riyadh, you went to the one in Miami. What keeps you coming back to the FII events?
See, for me, I come from the Web3 space, which is, that crypto bro space. People have
Hmm.
been investing in tokens. It's a sort of a economy where you have 500 odd million people having wallets and keeping on investing. When I attended FIS Saudi, I saw that, a lot of traditional TradFi, that means, a lot of Saudi entities, Saudi investments funds exist who don't have exposure to Web3. And for me, coming back to this place was meeting newer people who we can inform and educate to come back into the Web3 space. So it's for me, FII is more of a bridge of traditional capital into crypto capital because crypto hasn't started yet. And 10 years later, you saw the ETFs coming. ETF can be considered
Hmm.
as a big way of institutional capital, but the family offices are still missing. The Jadas and the Sanabels of Saudi are still missing in this game. So for
Hmm.
me, coming there is to meet new people, keep them informed. In the next 3, 4 years, all of them will be in Web3, and I should be the
Yeah.
forerunner in the space for them.
Man, I love it. Let's go further into Sigma Capital. So tell us about the firm and maybe a little bit about the thesis around forming it.
So Sigma Capital is my third fund. My last two funds were single LP fund. The same guy gave me a 10 million and $100 million to invest. I've done
Hmm.
300 plus investments in the Web3 space. Sigma Capital is my own fund, a regulated LPGP fund out of Cayman, investing
Hmm.
in web startups. So, when you invest in an equity of a company like a Sequoia, you invest in future revenue ownership of a company. But when you
Hmm.
invest in a token, you are investing in process ownership. If I invest in tokens of multiple companies, I've done SUI, Miston Labs. If this was done by ex-head of engineering for Facebook, I've done SEI, I've done Peak Network. Like I've done 300 plus of these startups. And
Wow.
that's what I'm planning to do in this fund, invest in 120 plus venture deals across the Web3 space, do a
Hmm.
few liquid deals as well. Liquid deals basically means tokens that are there in the top 100 in the coin market cap and basically investing across foundations and early investors in them. So same thing, venture
Mm.
capital investing, just like equity, I'm focused towards tokens.
What are you looking for in the company or the tokens that you're looking to acquire? What are you looking for?
Again, when it comes to venture investing, technically it's the same thing. You look at what the founder has, capability and capacity of a founder.
Mm.
And when you look at someone who was head of engineering for Facebook, for example, like Evan Cheng from Sui, that he has built scalable projects, he
Hmm.
understands what the business model is. So first, definitely is looking at the founder's capability and capacity. He hasn't built a cycle and wants to go to a moon, build a rocket to go to moon doesn't happen. So
Hmm.
one is that part. The second part is what is he trying to build? In Web3, it's all about I want to plant a tree and raise money. That's not what building real sustainable models is. Is he building something that is going to get lending borrowing to Africa, for example? Is he building a
Mm.
stable coin with a different perspective, not a US like USDT and USDC already own majority of this play? Is he building a game that really has
Mm.
something great about it and will get users engaged to have their digital assets, in-game assets being transferred from one place to another? So I look at the founders, I look at what they are trying to do. I definitely look at who are the investors on board. To build a AAA game, you need a lot of money, 50,
Yeah.
60 million odd dollars odd. So
Mm-hmm.
if he hasn't been able to raise $2 million, unfortunately, something that doesn't have a lot of space to
Yeah.
go. So I look at those 4 or 5 parameters and then definitely love to meet the founders and understand their vision. So very
Mm.
similar to how you invest in equity in an early stage equity of a company. And that's what I look at. And that's in a nutshell what I do.
Mm. Let's take it maybe from the macro level a little bit, and specifically the US policy shift and just the regulatory environment. What does that mean for digital assets, like from your vantage point?
So for me, there are 2, 3 critical parameters that have been kicked on with Trump coming on board. One is he's become pro crypto. He's been talking positive about crypto. That's a one step ahead for us. Trump opens up the crypto for the whole world. So adoption comes on. Again, adoption had already come with the ETFs coming in, people putting money in Bitcoin ETFs. But
Mm.
there also has been an issue that, once Trump announced the crypto adoption, he launched a couple of meme coins. Now, meme
Mm.
coins are nothing but the Wolf of Wall Street penny stocks, which technically have no end or front. They're just building on hype. So I think from the regulatory perspective, it's been a very positive impact because people nowadays are recognizing it as a asset class. But some of these haphazard moves of announcing a Trump coin or announcing a Melania coin or having some of these tokens in the proposed crypto reserve, which means something like a Cardano or something like a Ripple, where the token has no use case. Cardano Ethereum has 60, 70%
Mm-hmm.
of the smart contracts. Solana has, Cardano doesn't. So point is it's been good as well
Mm.
as bad. And I think it gives momentum to the whole journey. So people now don't look at crypto as an asset class in a suspicious manner. They look at it more positively.
Mm. Let's get just slightly more niche here, Vineet. I'm curious on your end, like within Web3, any specific trends, whether it's in technology, companies, I mean, wherever you want to take that question, any particular trends within Web3 that you're following or what excites you?
So, when I look at Web3 over a general perspective, all the way from
Mm-hmm.
2017 to now, this is how I break it. It's a very crude form of breaking it. But 2017, it was all about, someone planting a tree in Africa and raising $5 million. No
Mm-hmm.
logic or no rhyme, just cashing in on the hype.
Mm-hmm.
2021 was all about building real use cases. You had Aave, which built the first bank online. Today, it has $28 billion of capital deployed over there. So the use cases came up, the games came up, which said that we will let people participate in building these games up. Identity came up. So, see, cycle two was all about building real use cases. And the third use case is all about building adoption and getting users on board. So, the key trends that I see over here, which excites me, is how will we get the next billion users in there? Today we have 500 million users. How do we get the next user base? So
Mm.
those users would come from things like a stable coin. In Africa, in Zimbabwe, there's amazing inflation. In Lebanon, you cannot take money out of your bank. In Argentina, the peso has depreciated 95% of the time. So when a thing
Mm-hmm.
like a USDT or USDT goes there, which is a stable pegged dollar coin, it brings value to them. Second is,
Mm.
lending, borrowing is important. Something like Aave, where, people can deploy their capital and earn a stable yield of 6% is an amazing use case, which will get people on. But games are
Mm-hmm.
an amazing way of getting people on board. Identity is one of the big cases. In this world of AI, I'm not sure whether Adam is on the other side. And Sam Altman, who built ChatGPT, understood that idea and built a coin known as WorldCoin, which basically takes your biometric,
Mm-hmm.
makes it into a hash rate, and the hash rate signs into this podcast verifying that it's Vineet. So identity is one key place. So these 5, 6 segments that
Mm.
see to it that more users come on board is what excites me in the coming future.
Mm. Now, circling back to the fund, so Sigma Capital, is this open? Is this a closed fund? So meaning the investors are set, or is it still possible for people to participate? Like talk to me a little bit about that.
So the fund was announced around 2.5 months back,
Mm-hmm.
and it's gotten soft commits of around $50 million already. Initial close is expected. The first close is supposed to be $100 million fund.
Mm-hmm.
We are still
Mm-hmm.
meeting people. I'm doing a lot of roadshows across Miami, across Puerto Rico. Some of our
Mm-hmm.
investors and advisors are helping us do that, doing something in LA as well. So yes, we are actively raising. We are looking to reach out to fund of funds, HNIs, people who want to get into crypto but want to understand more. We're not a broker. We are not here who buys and sells. Like everyone has this whole mindset that, oh, these guys are buying and selling tokens on Binance. No, we do not do
Mm-hmm.
that. We are a venture capital fund in this space. We invest in companies much earlier than when they would get listed. So
Mm-hmm.
yes, it's a fund which is open, ongoing. Hopefully our first close is on June 31st and
Mm.
the last close in December. Should be there at $100 million by then.
Yeah. The investments themselves, I'm curious, how does deal flow work for you? like prospecting new deals, even just getting the deal flow?
Okay, so I have done close to 300 plus investments so far in this space, and
Mm-hmm.
I some
So
offline I
you're
can
the
send you
guy.
the. No, no,
Like
I
you're
see.
getting stuff. You're getting stuff. I mean, like the deals come across your desk daily.
So deals come a lot, and
Not
majorly
all are
how did
good.
I
I know
build?
you're sifting. It's about sifting. So I'm not saying the good ones come across your desk daily. I'm just saying.
See, luckily, what I did was in the last 4 years, I built a great founder and an investor network. So
Mm,
I don't mostly invest in, walking on the road, someone comes and pitches to me is not how I do. I'm not that early an investor.
yeah. Yeah.
I would invest if a project would come out of an accelerator, an incubator, or through a fellow VC as a co-investor. So
Mm,
that's how my deal flows come. A founder who has done amazing refers me to another founder, and I try to figure out whether there's like I have invested in a token which just launched on Binance, for example. It was known as Kernel DAO. He just
mm,
launched at a $500 million valuation. Now, the head of business development for Kernel DAO, who took it from $60 million to $700 million of TVL, just announced an AI startup. So, it came from the network, and that's how I build on my leads.
mm.
I have to sort of invest in 120 investments. So we're looking at close to 1,000 deals that we will look in the next
Yeah.
3 years. And it all comes from founder networks and investor partners.
Amazing. Vineet, really good having you on the show today and learning more about Sigma Capital. If somebody's listening or watching this and they want to follow up and connect with you or your team, how do they do that?
So, the best way to reach me is you can drop me a message on Twitter. I'm on Vineet Budki. My email simple, Vineet at sigmavc.com. The website's with www.sigmavc.com.
Mm-hmm.
Someone who's completely out of this ecosystem. I am mostly in 4 to 5 events every month
Mm,
across the globe. So I should be there in Scaramucci's event, Salt event in Bermuda. I should be during Milken in the US in Token
mm,
3049. So you see me everywhere, but
mm.
you have the social media where you can reach me out as well.
Amazing. Well, Vineet, I appreciate you coming on the show again. And for everybody listening, just so you know, we'll put the links in the show notes so that you can just click on the link and head right on over. And speaking to the audience, if this is your first time with Mission Matters and you haven't done it yet, hit that subscribe or follow button. This is a daily show. Each and every day, we're bringing you new content, new ideas, and hopefully new inspiration to help you along the way in your journey as well. So again, hit that subscribe or follow button. And Vineet, look forward to seeing you at Milken, man. I'll be there. So I've been covering that conference for years. So I'll see you at Milken.
Sure, Adam. Look forward to meeting you during Milken.